Mr. Ambassador, welcome to Somali National Television and thank you for your time. My first question is, you have recently presented your credentials to Somali's new elected president, Mohamed Abdullah Farmajo. What are you looking forward after this?
Well, it was a great honour and privilege to present my credentials so soon after President Farmajo was elected at Villa Somalia. Britain has already and always had a very strong relationship with Somalia, and we are very much looking forward to working with the new president and his team and the Prime Minister and the Cabinet when the Cabinet is formed to take forward our cooperation to the next level. In particular, we have a conference, a high-level political conference. Political leaders will gather in London in May, and that will be a fantastic opportunity for us to work with Somalia to show the world and the international donor community the progress that's been made, but also the challenges that remain, and invite them to recommit with us to continuing to support Somalia.
Before you arrived to Somalia, you had perception. Has that changed after your arrival?
I was lucky enough to visit here briefly last year, so I knew a little bit about the environment, my immediate working environment here, which was great. Obviously, since arriving, I've had more opportunities to learn about the political environment here, to learn about the development challenges, to learn about the humanitarian situation, and I'm now very much looking forward to using the knowledge and information I'm receiving and the contacts I'm building up, importantly good contacts with the Somali federal government, with the regional administrations, with parliamentarians and with civil society, to use all of those contacts to best effect in my time in the job as Britain's ambassador to Somalia.
You were among a number of diplomats and ambassadors who attended the inauguration of the Somalia's newly elected president. How was that making you when you were there, the peaceful transmission of power in Somalia?
It was great to have the opportunity to be there, present on the day in the room. I saw the MPs line up, cast their votes. I saw the votes being counted, and I saw the outcomes of the first round and the second round. All of that was very exciting, but it was also, importantly, clear evidence that the vote on the day was being conducted in a professional, clean, transparent manner, leading to a very clear outcome and then a very swift concession by the competing candidates and the announcement of the victory of President Farmajo. So all of that, I think, sets a very good example for other countries in Africa, that part of the process, and it was genuinely inspiring, actually, to see the gracious and dignified speeches being given by the losing candidates.
President Farmajo has appointed Hassan Ali Khaire as the country's prime minister. What are your thoughts on the appointment of Mr. Khaire?
We were very pleased to see that the president is moving decisively early on to nominate his choice for prime minister, and we will fully support that choice. Of course, it has to go through the process and be confirmed by Parliament and so on, but we will very much look forward to working with the President and the new Prime Minister in due course.
And you met the newly appointed Prime Minister. What did you discuss it, and what is your primary thoughts towards him, the newly appointed Prime Minister?
I met the PM designate. I was very pleased to have that opportunity. We had a really wide-ranging and very good discussion about all aspects of the bilateral relationship, UK and Somalia, what the UK is doing now to support Somalia, how it can build on that over the next 4-year political cycle here, which will be absolutely crucial in moving Somalia forward from its current position to a state where it can take more responsibility for its security in particular.
Britain has hosted number of international conferences trying to help Somalia support and collect support for Somalia in the past 4 years. So what do you expect from Britain in the era of President Farmajo?
Well, it's always important that at the beginning of a new political cycle, when you have new leaders, to really seize that moment and to make the most of it as a moment to set the agenda and to energize people here in Somalia, but also in the international community. I mean, the world faces many political and security crises and humanitarian crises at the moment. And so it's really important, given all the things happening in the world, that we are able to gather leaders together to remind them of the progress that's being made in Somalia, but also remind them of the challenges that still need to be addressed, and to work then with them as donors and the Somalia government here in the centre and the regions to set out the course and the terms, if you like, of the partnership and the relationship for the next 4 years. That's what we want to achieve in London in our conference, but also that reflects our thinking about what it's important to achieve more broadly with the new leaders in Somalia as they take office.
Somalia is now witnessing severe droughts, and the UN agencies say it can maybe potentially develop to a famine if not prevented soon. And I know that Britain has announced a large amount to help the needy people in Somalia. Tell us about it.
Well, we take what's happening on the drought front very seriously indeed. I mean, there are 2.2 million people in need of assistance. We've got 360,000 or more children who are acutely malnourished, 70,000 of whom may actually die if they don't get urgent treatment and assistance. So in Britain, we believe we have a duty to act. We believe that the world has a duty to act, and we believe that the time to act on this is now. That's why we've announced an extra £100 million of emergency humanitarian assistance for Somalia. And we want to see others now join us in uplifting their humanitarian assistance so that we can act early to prevent the drought conditions from turning into something much, much worse.
According to many, donations from the international humanitarians and aid workers, maybe from the government, come late mostly. So when do we expect that the £100 million that Britain promised will be delivered to the needy people in Somalia?
So my humanitarian experts, the government's humanitarian experts, right now from the UK, we are talking to the emergency relief agencies and putting in place arrangements as soon as we practically can that will ensure that this £100 million of extra aid will be delivered as swiftly as possible. We've got an historic opportunity to act early, at scale, to prevent the drought situation from becoming a situation where we have mass mortality. If we act now at scale, we can prevent this, but we need others to join us in this. The mistake of the past, the situation in 2011 was that the world acted too late. The relief came in, but by the time the relief came in, we already had mass mortality. So on this occasion, we want to work with others, with the Somali government, to get in there fast, to uplift our aid, to prevent mass mortality. We think that's possible, but it's going to require a lot of effort and a lot of coordination and a lot of close working of a lot of different agencies and the central government here, the federal government here, working alongside us and with us, and also with the regional administrations. All of that's going to be important.
Okay, what are the other areas you will be supporting Somalia in the coming years?
Well, if I can just stick with the humanitarian and drought relief, because this is so important to us. So I just want to say a little bit about the £100 million of extra money we're providing and what that will actually deliver. So what it will deliver is emergency food relief for up to 1 million people. It's also going to deliver life-saving emergency nutritional support for more than 600,000 starving children, pregnant and breastfeeding women. It's going to allow us to deliver emergency health care to about 1.7 million people and clean, safe water for about 1 million people. So that's a lot of relief effort, really making a big difference. But it's not enough. This is why we need others to join us in this. We need the rest of the donor community to work with us very fast now to upscale. As I said earlier, we've got 6.2 million people in Somalia in need of humanitarian assistance. So whilst what we've brought to the effort represents a really big contribution, we do need others now to work with us fast.
David Conqueror, the British Ambassador to Somalia, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.